Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Pantedguild. Now, it has been many a moon since I have last laid eyes on the fortress. It's actually just been maybe an hour for you, or maybe you're rolling on through the series, but this is the first episode where I have been able to stop and go back through all of the feedback, because I'd done a batch of recording to get the series off the ground. So, thank you so much for all the encouragement, enthusiasm, etc. I'm very excited. Tons of great suggestions and some tips and tricks that I didn't realize, and also some naming suggestions as well. So very excited to start thinking about incorporating those. And like I said, it's literally been 13 days since I've touched the fortress, so I'm going to have a bit of a reintroduction to Pantedguild. Not really, but I did one thing before I even start off. I will finally acknowledge the elephant in the room, our good friend, Twinsy Odin, who has been in two positions. Two dwarves have been named Odin this entire time, so my humble apologies for somehow just completely missing that. I must have been losing my mind slowly. I'm like, Chief Medical Dwarf, huh? Really? Okay, that's fine. So we're going to go with another dwarf named Marok. I think that's a pretty fantastic dwarven Chief Medical Dwarf name. Welcome, my friend. We will slowly but surely start renaming a few dwarves at a time. I doubt that I'm going to rename 113 dwarves, but it's just more fun when you get a couple of folks who have some fancy names. So we're going to come back and talk about the farm area, because I did have some plans to get to some stone in here. Someone also had a great tip that they love to, below their tomb, they love to build, below their mega hall or their church or whatever, the temple, they love to build their vault, their burial area. And I thought that's a really cool idea, and we're not quite done. We still have, let's see, this is the top level, second level, third, and then I think we were planning for 5 levels total. I mean, I guess we literally could end it right here. It could be a 3-story tall mega church. Wow, that is, is filled with stone. That's going to take a million years to empty out. The other thing I was thinking about, with how quickly our guild halls and our temples are just becoming more popular, there's so many dwarves that are hoping to pray to their deity, etc. We might expand this. And I was thinking about, instead of expanding from the, I guess, like making the hallway deeper, we never know what the end of this temple room will be, like how big it will need to be. So what if we converted this front 3 or so tiles into like a long hallway, and then it's kind of like you're walking down a hallway that has a glass wall that looks into the massive chamber. I think that could be kind of cool. And then also maybe talking about putting that, just relocating the tomb. Speaking of tombs, by the way, somebody did suggested to try to make a 2x2 tomb. Are you kidding me? Is that really all I needed? It is. All you need is, I think, a minimum. Can these be different tombs, though? Let's take a look. That was... oh, this is... Okay, so I see what it was. Let me remove this real quick. So... what is the minimum, the bare minimum we need? If I make a 1x1 tile, is this acceptable? It is, in fact, acceptable. So, does it have to be enclosed, though? That would be my question. I don't think so. But like any good dwarven scientist, we're going to do some testing. Let's do a quick single tile tomb right there, and we're going to accept this. And then, of course, we are going to build our burial chamber thing here with a lovely microline coffin. Nothing says holy burial chamber like a bright blue coffin. And we'll see if this is a valid tomb. If it is, it's going to really clean up my upsetness with the entire fact that everyone deserves their own tomb. Although maybe we want to keep that. Maybe everyone does get like a little hole in the wall, perhaps. Okay. Other than that, what else do we have going on? We've got our big carved out area here for chalk. We are going to have it. Look at this entire level. Looks like it's chalk. And this segues quite nicely, in fact, into another tip, which was minecarts and tracks. Now, I have never played with minecarts in Dwarf Fortress, which is crazy because I love playing with minecarts in Minecraft. So, how would we muck about with minecarts? Hey, here we go. Minecarts and tracks are a convenient way to move a lot of objects around the fortress quickly, though they take a little effort to prepare. Maybe the fact that I'm so hyper-religious about making things vertically, maybe utilizing minecarts would be more efficient for making like longer, wider floors. We could experiment with that. They take a little effort to prepare. One minecart can be assigned to each route. Workers will move the vehicle from track stop to track stop according to conditions. Each track stop must be linked to a stockpile for items to be put on or removed from the minecart. This is going to require a little bit of science to kind of understand it. Minecarts that move too quickly around corners will spill their contents. When a route has a steep descent, consider using powered rollers, extra curves, track stops. That's insane. That's actually literally insane. All right, cool. So that is a minecart track, route rather. So I think in order to make this, that's a good question. How do we mess around with actual minecarts? I thought there was like to designate. This is a channel ramp. We've done all of this stuff before. What about advanced options? I don't think there's an advanced option for this. Detailing. There we go. What is this? Carve a gap in smooth wall to allow your archers to fire. Oh, this is the, I can't remember what the old designation was, but I think this lets them just make it so that you can just shoot straight through a wall. That's fine. So, we're going to experiment with carving tracks into a floor. Let's just do it here to here. And that's it. We're going to have one flat run. Again, this is Dwarven science, right? This is all building up to a brighter and better future. So, we're going to try to experiment with this. Wow. Is everybody working on this? Apparently everyone can do this in the entire fort. Holy crap. We are having a minecart party. Apparently. Well, I guess we're going to probably, unsurprisingly, need some minecarts. So let's go over to our crafting area. I think we are going to put down I have to remember where certain buildings are. It's literally been that long. Let's go to the blacksmith forge and maybe cart. Okay, so I think minecarts are going to be a different type of object. Let's go into orders generically. Oh, wow, I must have killed every single work order trying to clean things up. I think we were trying to let things recuperate a little bit. So, minecart. Okay, so we can actually forge different material minecarts. Let's make a couple of minecarts, maybe just 5 for now. We should have 1,000,000 steel, so that's not a problem. Again, our bar... I guess our smelting operations have been absolutely nutty lately. So we are doing absolutely fine on that. Primary metal storage right here. So we have pig iron. We've got gold. Hey, you know, we've got flux in the form of chalk. And we've got pig iron. Why don't we do a batch of steel? And maybe get ourselves in, at least started on the route to making steel. So, I think I want to do, is it smelt? You don't really smelt steel, do you? Because you're kind of making steel. Make steel bars. Awesome. Let's try... I mean, I don't know. Let's try 500. I'm sure we'll run out of that. But at least it would kind of make every little bit of pig iron. It's not like we're low on chalk. We are probably a little bit more restricted on pig iron bars more than anything. What other tips do I have? We've got the tomb stuff, the mine carts. Oh, we've got... When we're trying to talk about the military, remember we had a lot of trouble getting the military sorted. We did learn, I'm fairly sure, we did learn that if anyone has anything in their hands, like a woodcutter or a miner, they're going to struggle with their orders. So we did get that part figured out. Somebody mentioned if we go into our archer squad, and I'm into the equipment here, where was this? There was apparently an ammo tab. Now, I might have to be... This might have been from the old part of the game as well. What if I add a uniform? Yeah, there is no F shortcut here. Okay. It was basically a way... I think they were talking about a way to get to wooden ammunition. Basically designate wooden ammunition or not. There's a burrow, patrol order. These are all different orders. It's really the equipment part is what we're kind of curious about. There is kind of like a little... You know, this is like where you're getting your ammo. It says they're all happy. They've got all the ammo they need. It is interesting that we really can't specify that. Again, kind of just some quality of life options, maybe. Oh, this is just the name of the uniform. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So that is all the tips. I'm sure there's actually a lot more tips, but the tips that I wrote down kind of glancing through a lot of the comments, I have some more to get down to. We have a petition, which I'm assuming is somebody who wants to live here. I'm going to deny this for a little bit to wait for myself to get back on my feet. We do have 113 dwarves, which is kind of insane. I was a little bit worried that we're getting so big for our britches that we might want to start talking about, you know, even more food. And I think that's part of the reason why we started expanding our farm. And because everything has to be symmetrical in my life, I am going to just make a little second turn off here so the future wagons can take either path if they so choose. I did want to maybe also relocate the war dog so he's less in the way here. So let's take a quick glance again at our military, because I do think we're going to start getting some horrible things here in the near future. Now, all of you are off duty. I believe most of the people in the military squad are, not to say they're not important, but they're somewhat expendable, I believe. So we can probably set them to training nonstop. And I believe right before we left off, we had just changed some of the bin bar combinations and assignments to store wooden items in some places. Shoot, this is still actually kind of a little bit of a mix here. Maybe we were talking about, yeah, this would let me control what goes into the bin or into the stockpile as a whole. So right now, this one is actually just iron bolts, and I think this one's going to be maybe wooden bolts, but it doesn't look like they're all quite unmixed yet. I mean, we've got so many. Do we really care? And maybe they can reuse the arrows at the same time. Let's do a little bit of training. Remember, we did try to do some alternated staggered training. It never really worked right, but at the same time, we still had some issues with uniforms and with people having the wrong gear. So maybe that might get fixed up. We'll let them work out for a little bit. We've got some puppies here. We've got woodcutters, pyrite. Okay, cool. That's fine. We did wind up cutting out the next floor. I think we did assign most of these bedrooms. We have a couple that we're missing. So let's go ahead and put down a little bit of furniture. It's like literally remembering how to play the game. It's only been a couple days, but it's been, you know, holidays have passed. So there's been a lot of food consumed. There's been a lot of hockey observed. as is what we do during holidays. Hockey and food. All right. Doors here. Then I think everyone is going to be fine. And then we've got our cabinets. I think we had some leftover cabinets. We do, thankfully. Knock on wood. Hopefully just enough to get this entire section all done up. It is. Lovely. I think I had chests as well. Everyone did get a chest in the other side. So let's get this done real quick. Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of time between this episode and the next one. I know I always wind up saying that, but it's so hard for me to play the game and let the time pass without sharing it with you, because I'm a little afraid that I'll completely miss something. Oh, I did see a comment here that apparently wells do share the same vertical tile. So you can stack wells, which mechanically doesn't make sense to me, but hey, you know what? If it works for our dwarves, it works for me. Right. Snatchers have been observed in the area. How dare you try to snatch from Delaire the poet. Alright, so they're kind of moving pretty slow. I'm kind of glad that... Boy, they just kind of come on right in. I'm curious if the dogs are going to fight right here. Okay, that's not helpful. I mean, it's good for observational purposes, but they really didn't do too much in terms of guard duty. That's fair. So they're going to try to come on down. Let's go ahead and activate the Axe Dwarfs squad and give them a move command right over here. And I think we're all armored up. And sure enough, oh, the defenders of the fort, not even messing around. Who was that? Who got the kill? Oostooth, my friend, no longer named Oostooth. You have claimed your first life, maybe you're even more than one. So Wampy, welcome to the show, my friend. And we've got Kiffy. Of course, Kiffy taking down enemies left, right, and center. Kiffy, how many kills do you have? You've got 2. You got a Wolverine kill and Stathos the witch bug, the goblin. Very nice. What about Wampy? Have you had any more than 1 kills? You kind of got both of these at the same time. So fantastic job. So there is a lot of death. Were there 3 people? Oh, that's their leg. Zom Ugsnarubzu's leg is hanging out over here. Wow, that was brutal and quick. That was absolutely quick. A sensory nerve has been severed. So the first strike, I want to see what the first hit was. The dog, is this the warrior bard that died a while ago? Goblin thief in the head. Was that just now? I wish I had some kind of a date here. Yeah, actually I think this is all recent here. So one of our dogs, oh, that's right, we've got 2 dogs assigned to Kif. So he actually had a little bit of backup. So the first thing that Kif tried to do was grab the Goblin Thief by the lower leg to pin him down and take him down in a wrestling maneuver. The Goblin Thief was unable to break the grip. Then he punched him. Kif, why aren't you using your axe? Maybe he didn't have his axe on him. There's a lot of grappling here. He punched him. Okay, this is fantastic. Kif can punch so hard that he opened an artery when he punched the goblin in the left foot with his left hand, and his entire foot exploded, and then he shattered the ankle. Do you know how hard? Like, I'm picturing Kif just lining up with a big double-handed hammer fist coming down in this goblin's foot and shouting, "You shall take no children here." Nice. Super nice. We won't, maybe, I don't know, maybe one day we won't pause for every single fight, but man, that is entertaining. A lot of folks have posted in Discord about I don't want to spoil everything in the world, but boy, things can get... There's a lot of horrible things that are coming down the road, and I'm kind of glad there's a bit of a ramp right now. We're getting some goblin thieves here and there. I do assume that at some point we're going to go fully hostile with the nearest goblin outpost, and that's going to result in some sieges and some battles and things like that. Let's go ahead and claim this stuff so we can kind of get rid of it at least. Nice job, team. Great murder. Everyone's hanging out in the appropriate areas. We've got a lot of folks practicing their shooting, which is great. Lots of dwarves shooting, lots of dwarves doing wrestling. That's what we love to see. We still don't really have a dining hall, do we? It's been a million episodes. We do not have a dining hall. So let's do some cleanup. We don't have anything going on with the stills, right? Because I had canceled pretty much every order. I'm going to do some of that kind of generic stuff that we've all seen before between episodes. What can we do with shells? Can we make anything out of shells? Because... we can. Decorate, make bracelets. Yeah, let's go ahead and just do... Make shell figurines on repeat for a while until they're all empty. That's going to help this stockpile get cleaned up a bit. So, I wanted to get my hands on some magnetite and, not magnetite, but some lovely mudstone. And there's a crap ton of mudstone stacked up in this area. I guess it's not really that important, but I did want to flood some more fields. So I think if we go ahead and mine out this space and this space, it's going to push all of the ore out, and we're going to be able to flood these new farms here. I think 2 big rooms, or 4 big rooms should be enough without, like, kind of flooding the rest of the entire fort. The one thing I don't remember is which link is which. Okay, so we want to make sure that stays closed. That's fine. So let's designate. Now, I'm a little concerned that there might be a wee bit of... Ooh. Huh. We could channel down. So what I'm concerned about is that this is basically a huge high-pressure area filled with water. If we mine through this, our dwarf is going to get knocked back and start to have some troubles, you know, breathing and all that. I don't think it's going to be something that will kill them. I do think they might get knocked out by the force of the water. But it should very quickly start to spread. And I think when you're at 3 or 4 out of 7 water on a tile, your dwarves can still breathe. And you know what? This is all science anyway, so let's go ahead and do it. We're going to mine this and this out. And yeah, let's just cross our fingers and hope and pray. I think that's the way to go about this. Oh, boy. It's really the best kind of science, truly. I literally have forgotten all of my shortcuts here. Let's set a quick high priority order. I want to get our miners to do this so I don't have to sit here waiting with bated breath. So both of these are now active. We are going to have our miners, oh boy, come down here and just absolutely get smacked. All right, so we've got Fath. Okay, Fath, I don't know who you are. And we've got a Zazel. So let's watch a Zazel and Fath. They're going to mine this out, and the water should come flooding through. Okay, cool. So Azazel got out fine. Oh, that wasn't bad at all. It was definitely not as terrifying as I thought it would be. Great. Everything is fine. There's no sense of panicking. What if this is only going to flood the first room? That might be a bit of a problem. Nah, it should be okay. Well, actually, how big is this water? There's a lot of water here. I do think our stairwell is about to get a little bit more flooded. I saw someone's really fancy eternal shower, I think they called it, where basically they've got a central stairwell and they had channeled out a massive area, and it wasn't really a channel. Sorry, I'm trying to hide the... I think it was this thing right here. They had basically made a reservoir and then pumped straight up, so the reservoir would spill out over the top, and then all the water would just kind of mist down through the stairs. And dwarves love walking through a watery mist. If I remember right, they love kind of getting splashed by a refreshing mist. Like if you're at Disneyland and you walk through some of the little water sprinklers on a hot day. So it is actually kind of beneficial to have some kind of like eternal water system going. Somebody also pointed out that to get the full benefit of the tavern, you do want to have a dining hall and a drinking area. So we were on our way to doing that. I'll come back to our explorations in water in the farm here in just a bit. It looks like that's going to be fine. It's just going to take a while to drain out. We might have some issues where it floods down the hall or makes this all muddy. Not a big deal. We will probably wind up putting in a floodgate here and doing this entire thing again in order to make sure the other rooms get flooded, because I think most of the water is going to run out these first few rooms, but not a big deal. In fact, do we have any spare floodgates? Yes, we do. Floodgate here. No, we don't. Fair enough. Thinking about rainbows, we still have tons of water or liquid. We've got tons of food. 700 and 700. Lovely. I'm still surprised no one has started a fight yet. I've almost always found a fight at this point. Do we want to keep going down? I mean, I think we're going to have libraries. We're still going to have more things that could go around this, you know, lovely temple or massive grand hall. So I think we can do it. Oh, yeah. I'm going to do a quick check here. Did we wind up getting... How could we do this? We do have our minecart. I think we've got them forged. So let's add a new route. Add a stop to this route. Minecart will move between this stop or between stops when it's satisfied. So click on a tile to position the stop. Building track stops is recommended. Oh, okay. We'll start here. At stop 1. And then maybe stop 2. Hey, how about that? And that is that, I think, for now. And it wants us to build a track stop. Excuse me. My voice just completely gave out there. Trying to think of what... track stop. How about that? So there's our track stop. Set the friction. Oh, what the heck? Set the friction and the auto dump direction. Auto dumping is not required. That's so cool. So we could put a track stop here. Let's just see what happens when we do that. This is so cool. One there, and I guess one there. And we'll just see what happens. Do we also have to actually build the tracks, or is it just in the floor? Because I think I saw a construction. Use minecart tracks in conjunction with the hauling menu. I don't think we have to... Because we've designated this, right? Carve a track in the floor. Tracks are used by minecarts. Okay, that should be right. So now, let's let those get built. I know we're going to have to... Why is the cat down here? I think the cat is playing with dead mice or something. So that track stop is done. That's great. And this one's going to be done here in just a second. Cool beans. Nice, guys. Nice. Boy, if we could figure out how to do this stuff like up and down, What if instead of bringing stuff back this way, what if we dump all of our stone from higher levels down into this entire area? What if this becomes our massive stone stockpile room? The secret of the fortress that no one gets to see. This is just where we throw all of our garbage. Bodies, stones, dead dwarves that we don't really like. Doesn't matter. Whoever it is. So that was done. What about the rest of this route? How does this work? Assign a minecart to this route. Only one vehicle can operate. Cool. We just have to click that. Okay, fair enough. Let's go ahead and don't show that again for now. Set conditions for the minecart to move on to the next stop. Probably, if at 100%, go to the next stop. I love that. So if we're doing this, we're probably going to need like a setup stockpile. So a little like loading zone, if you will, off to either side. So many masterwork pieces. That's crazy. Okay, so the minecart is done. So at stop 1, if... Oh, wow. Guide north. We don't really want to go... Yes, okay. So guide west immediately when full of the desired items. Yeah, how about that? Guide west in 1 day. Okay, that's cool. So let's take away the other things. Every day, take this west, push off west, or... Oh, that's crazy. You can either ride it or push it. Let's guide west if it's full of desired items. Full of any items. Oh, wow. I thought my entire computer crashed, but I think it's just my headset. Okay, fair enough. We're fine. I don't think you heard any of that. All right, so how do we... set the items desired. Great. Let's get rid of... I don't know. Let's get rid of this clay. Sorry, not this stuff. It was the... I think it's an economic... Kaolinite. Let's move some Kaolinite around. So then over here... then we have to link to a stockpile. Guide north. I don't think it's a guide thing. Oh, it is a guide thing. Sorry. Guide east immediately when empty of desired items. Hey, how smart is this? That's actually a fairly intuitive system. So, let's move a stockpile here. Just for funsies. And we'll put a little tiny stockpile here. So, oops. I forgot how stockpiles work because I immediately forgot to hit the confirm option. Alright, accept you. And we'll make a new one right here. Live Dwarven Science right in front of us. So, this is going to be a random stone stockpile. However, I think I can tie this specifically to the route. I wonder if it's tied to the route, does anyone use it? So stop 1 is over there. Stop 2 is going to say, choose a stockpile to which the track stops vehicle will give items. Take items or exchange items. Okay, so give here. Done. This is honestly fairly intuitive for Dwarf Fortress, which is kind of saying something, because Dwarf Fortress is normally not that intuitive. This is very straightforward. Let's grab a new stockpile for stone, and we're just going to do some Kaolinite here just for funsies and see if this works. I love it. This could revolutionize Dwarven handling. So excited about this. Super, super excited. Now, this is, it's less interesting for this part. What could be really fun is if we... God, we could we could go pretty crazy with this. We could do like full Minecraft levels. 2 things. One, we could, if we figure out how to go up and down Z levels, we could get to the point where if we're in an area with magma and we have like a magma forge deep down underneath the ground, we could possibly send our raw ores down and then our finished ores up once they're completed. So if we figure that system out, we would be in pretty good shape. The other option is to use this as a massive dumping ground. Now, they're actually already filling this up, which is kind of a bummer. I could make this just an absolutely massive stockpile so they couldn't possibly fill everything up. Still haven't actually had anyone drop. Okay, there's our first piece of Kaolinite. You pick this up. Hey, that actually worked. So as soon as someone came down, they dropped the Kaolinite right into the minecart. That's kind of nifty. The other thing I was going to say about this, if we figure this out, is that we could say, I don't know, maybe just do a kind of a janky circle going up or something, or maybe just a side room going up right in front of the mouth, or I guess wherever this, it'll be right about here, where this room, this mega room ends, where all of these stone will kind of just be sitting here. And then we could just easily load the stone and dump it down into a deeper stockpile. And we could even redo the track so that it kind of stretches on one, like goes down this way, hits the stop, and then gets pushed the other way. And especially if we can figure out how to do powered rollers, which is pretty crazy stuff. We've got tracks. Floor bars, vertical bars. Rollers move minecarts on tracks without the need for citizen to push or guide the minecart. I wonder how far, this can vary in length. Minecart rollers can vary in length. Set the orientation and speed below. This is absolutely perfect for science. What a great opportunity for science. How fast can we launch a minecart? That is the question. If we wound up building all of those, how far would that yeet a minecart, and would it damage any dwarves who are in the way? Oh, I didn't actually mean to build all of those. Okay, well, that might have been a mistake. Cool, it was actually just one. Oh, this is going to be some really fun science. This could result in the unfortunate demise of a couple of our test dwarves, but we'll figure it out. Hey, a couple other tips that random folks have been talking about. We have a lot of people, right? We have a lot of folks who aren't necessarily doing anything good or useful. So why don't we go into our job labor area and let's make a new work detail, which is literally for cleaning. Because we are at the point now where our fort is getting a little bit gross with a lot of random stuff. So, I think wall and floor construction could help. Lever operation would be useful as well. 13 days and I still right-click completely at random. So, edit this detail one more time. Let's just have, another job. I guess all of these are fine. And we'll call this facility services, because it's not just janitorial cleanup. We're also doing other things. We're doing mechanics in the fort. So facility services, and we are going to assign, I don't know, a random couple folks here to that role who aren't currently assigned as a combat dwarf. And I'm kind of curious if they could kind of go through here and maybe start cleaning up a lot of this random stuff that we've got lying about. How are we doing in terms of our military skills, by the way? Adequate. That's not too shabby. Mafol here. Also, nope, just a dabbling dwarf. How are we doing on ammo? Yeah, we're so fine here. I mean, we could do this for ages and probably never, ever run out of bolts. What's your skill at, my friend? You are simply a dabbling and novice discipline, and then dabbling marks dwarf. Okay, fair enough. Someone fussed at me for saying novice and novice. What is this? Oh, hey, we had our first fight. Hey, there we go. Hafthor Kostlanik, human bard, is brawling under the influence. Are you, though? Because it doesn't really look like a lot's going on. You've got a little... You're throwing a tantrum. There is a bit of some fighting going on here. The human bard attacks the bone doctor, but she scrambles away. Very nice, bone doctor. Domas Isakuzol. Lots of dodging and shoving going on. I love that. I love the mess that these people have created, too. You guys are nuts. We talked about setting up another tavern at some point here as well. Doran wishes to live here for the purposes of soldiering. Really? Doran? Oiled swamp. That is honestly kind of cool. I had no idea we can get a soldier. So where is our friend? Where did you go, buddy? It's a crazy last name. Something Swamp, right? Maybe he's not here yet. A little bit of puke. Lots of fighting. This is actually where we might start getting some some practice for our doctors. Could be fun. Anybody visiting our hospital yet? Oh, hey, how did our flooding go? Not too bad. We got most of the first 2 rooms on either side. So I do need a few things here. The first is to... this is where the fort's going to get so busy that things are going to get absolutely out of control. We need some floodgates here. Nope, that's going to be under the rock stuff. Yeah. So let's make a few floodgates. We're going to need some more mechanic-y things. I do believe they're called mechanisms. I think mechanic-y things should be the permanent name. Yeah, this fort just needs some love on pause, I think is what we need to do. I'm going to take care of that between episodes. Give this a good think. So here's my list of to-dos that I'm not going to bore you with, but I can just give you a nice consolidated update, hopefully with not a lot of time passing. I am going to... I do want to drop this down a couple more levels to stick with our idea. Although, if we drop this down here, we would be on the same level as our mine... Oh, hey! Someone's pushing our minecart! It worked! Well, that's cool. So it's 5 pieces of whatever at a time. With the same level of effort, it looks like, as one would use in a wheelbarrow. So that went all the way to the end. And that's it. And then, okay, well, that didn't quite work out. That's supposed to stop. Why did that not... Maybe that's because I didn't put anything to be designated. It is linked. We are giving to this stockpile. Maybe this didn't have enough traction on it. He did kind of like yeet it all the way through. What if I were to... How do we remove designations? I think this one. We can't. We actually probably have to smooth the floor instead. Yeah. I don't think I want to do that yet, because I'm not sure if we're going to stick with this or not. So maybe that was the problem. Still lots of fighting in the tavern, but no one looks like they're injured yet. Boy, this place is getting really rowdy. So yeah, I need to make myself a to-do list. 1, we're going to put some floodgates in here and flood the next room. Great. Next, we are going to channel down our awesome, fancy, epic room. 2 more levels, and it's going to land right about... Oh, actually, just 1 more? I think we were ending at the tomb room. We'll repurpose this for something different. So it's going to end here. So 2 more levels down, because this is going to be a nice big 5-story area. The other thing I want to do is reposition our temples. And I think maybe I might combine some of these rooms and make them like, you know, like take out the wall. And then this becomes one big temple room. Because we are going to have 5 floors of this. It's a rather repetitive for me, but at the end of the day, you know, what's important for our dwarves is what's really important in life, right? So... that could be the big option here. So let's see what happens this time. So this is still full. It should... Okay, so this is full right now, too. The stockpile. Let's expand it. Somebody said there was a little symbol to erase the stockpile without... Okay, Control, Alt, whatever, didn't do it. What about this? Oh, hey! Oh, here it is down here. That's very far away from the icons. Okay, so you can shave off little bits and pieces of your stockpile with this lovely icon down here. Well, thank you for that tip. You guys are fantastic. So this stopped. Nothing happened. We have puppies. That happened. So it's 100% full here. Decided by the minecart at this stop. So go west immediately. Oh, and then maybe empty? Oh, what was that? No, when empty of desired items. When full of any items, go west. Yes. And then, what was our other options here under the route menu? At a stop, minecarts will move between stops when conditions are satisfied. At stop 2, we don't really want anything here, though, right? I mean, theoretically, it should be empty. And then you're giving to this stockpile. When empty of any items, guide E. So it should sit here until it's done. Right. Maybe that'll work out. Okay. We'll come back to that in a little bit. There's just so much going on at any given time in this fortress. At some point, I'm going to have to come through here. I don't think it's going to be terribly hard. We're going to have to just make a bunch of up-down stairs. And then... Oh, God. How do we get rid of up-down stairs without collapsing the stair above it? I think we're going to have to do the scaffolding idea, which I talked about before. I also forgot to... This is dangling. This is actually kind of awkward because this is dangling over the entire middle area here. Thankfully, this entire room is full, so I don't think awful things can happen. I think the plan was, because it needs support, we are going to build a floor like this, and then kind of like needs access to 2. Yeah, we have to wait for this first part of the floor to be built. If I were to just send a dwarf to mine all of this, it would no longer be attached to the ceiling, and the only point of attachment would be right here. Although... How... You know what? Listen. What's the fun in having a dwarven fortress if you never purposely put your dwarves at risk? How about... This is literally going to be a perfect example of, like, looking back when things go wrong. If I were to dig this out, I think... No matter how precarious... No, that's right. It is unsupported. Or is it, though? Remember the great collapses here of Jexon's death? There was a huge overhang from, like, this level that was, like, out to here. It was completely unsupported, but it was attached. So my theory is, if I mine... this entire thing, because right now, if you picture this is less... Picture this as like something hanging from the ceiling as opposed to anything else. So what our doors would do is detach it from the ceiling, and there would be like a really long stone plank, basically. And theoretically, if it is always connected here, it would not collapse. That's the theory. What I want to test... Who's going to come do this, though? Here's what we're going to try. We're going to release Azazel. We're going to release Odin. Crap. I don't want Odin or Azazel to die. This is kind of awful, but I'm actually... I'm going to turn both of them off the mining roll for a few minutes here. Yes, I love it. Let's sacrifice the newbies. Okay, so I've taken them off the mining roll because this is some dangerous science we're doing. And if we have to sacrifice a dwarf... No, Odin, stop it. You're fired. Hang on, I need to stop Odin's roll. Stop what you're doing, buddy. How do you remove a dwarf from doing something? I can't remember. I thought there was a symbol somewhere. I've literally forgotten everything. I think if you dig this, you might just be done. Okay, cool. You stopped doing what you're doing. Yeah, if we're going to try something out that requires science, let's at least use a dwarf we're a little bit less attached to. Even if it was Dr. Odin, Baron Odin. Yeah, he's also literally the entire administrator of our fortress. So maybe not the best idea to have the Baron slash mayor doing the experimentation. Okay, so here's Stodier. Stodier, my friend, I believe in you. I believe that this is not going to fall. You are not going to collapse to your death today. But if it does fall, you are so screwed. 110% screwed. Oh, the music is perfect too. Oh boy. Oh boy. So as soon as this one... Oh, who's down here? Who's down here? Is this a child? God, stupid children getting in the way. My thought was that this room is empty. Sorry, this room is full. So surely nobody would need to come in here, right? Whatever, this kid's going to become part of science in a minute. Okay, so as soon as she detaches this... Look at the kid in the background down there. Oh, boyo. Okay, the door is installed. Locking the door. I think the child is out of the death trap room. Great. What we have right now, if you picture this in 3D, is a kind of a big open room. And 2 or 3 stories up, there is a very, very precarious looking stone plank, basically. Like a walk the plank kind of a thing. So what we're going to do is we are going to deconstruct this floor first. Oh, please don't let this be anyone super important. This shouldn't do anything. He says with not much confidence. Okay, here's Fath, the miner. This will be... I am purposefully collapsing this entire thing to make life a little bit easier for me. So what we're going to do is deconstruct this right here. And theoretically, this entire platform should fall down. It actually might fall so hard that it breaks through the floor. But there's nothing below it, so theoretically that shouldn't hurt. The question is, if someone deconstructs something right next to a piece of flooring that collapses, do they fall in too? Stodier, I would be sweating too, my friend. Here we go. There it was. There it was. Stodier got absolutely wrecked, which is kind of hilarious. I'm not sure why they even got injured in the first place. And then, holy crap. What a great way to clean up stone. No one over here got hurt, right? Nope. Everything fell down. I think actually something did impact down. It made a little dent here. So a section of the cavern has collapsed. And all you are is just unconscious. Which is a little bit silly, I guess. Because it didn't like collapse from the ceiling. It broke off and shattered downward. Which is a little bit strange. But I think you're okay. Stodier does look like they are okay. We did manage to free ourselves of this ugly platform. And my friends, we cleaned up a bunch of our stockpile area. I would say this is a huge success, personally. Let's go ahead and unforbid the door. This is kind of cool. There's a little barred icon here. When you make a door bar it or you make it passable. Alaith has given birth to a baby boy. Congratulations, my friend. Boy, that was right in the middle of the temple. Right in the middle of church service. You just popped him out down there. I think that was very successful science. I really do. I'm very excited that worked out and not a lot of people were injured. Only the appropriate amounts of injuries. How are we doing on the fighting? Got a little bit of dwarven puke here. There does seem to be a constant brawl happening. I'm going to get to the work orders for tables probably between this episode and the next one. Here's my rough plan. I've done this a million times, right? I think I'd like to make one of our inns for sleeping and then one of our taverns. Well, yeah, like an inn versus a tavern, right? I mean, like, I guess they're kind of the same thing, but I want to have a tavern that has the one big drinking room. And what I'm probably going to do is reclaim some of this space and extend the drinking area and then make the eating areas off to the side. And then down here, we're going to make a new tavern or an inn that's just going to have a ton of bedrooms for all of our many, many guests. We did rip a hole in the wall here. That's what we'll do there. And as I said before, this is actually... What is limonite? Is this gold? It is an ore of iron, apparently. That is very fancy looking. And then these areas up here I'd mentioned before I'm going to reclaim in order to kind of make them larger, because it does seem like you need more stuff in these rooms. We talked very briefly about the location stuff. So if I go into... let's see. How do I go into locations? Taking a quick peek at... Oh! Huh. We have justice stuff here. Justice. Interesting. Next episode, we might explore the realm of dwarven justice. This is pretty cool. Disorderly conduct. Execution. I love it. Sorry, locations. And... yeah, so it's the Farmers Guild Hall here. I think I can click on this. It is considered to be a meeting hall. I agreed to build them a guild hall. Right. So currently it's a meeting place. Next is at 2,000 value, basically. So I have to make this room nicer. So by combining these rooms and making them larger, I think we're gonna be able to squeeze a little bit more value out of everything. Yeah. Yeah. That works for me. And then I think we'll also do, you know, maybe these will be like the peak, top tier temple areas, right? That get the best viewing right around the edges of our massive glass, you know, whatever. And then down here we'll just have overflow for the less popular dwarven deities. That could be a fun one. Hey, did this work? This was our experimentation in tomb stuff. It did work. Oh, that's a fantastic tip. That was a great tip. Thank you so much for that. This tomb is available for pet or dwarf right now. We will put Sigan in there. I forgot all about Sigan. We lose dogs left, right, and center here. So we'll put Sigan in there. Lovely. Well, I don't know why I'm going to do that, because at the end of the day, we're going to immediately relocate Sigan. Let's cancel this random stockpile here. Did we ever empty this out? We did not. But I think I'm going to have to watch a little video on minecarts, since I've never used them. I'm going, like, most of the stuff in Dwarf Fortress I at least have some experience with, but have not touched a minecart at all. So I'm going to experiment and try to come up with a better system. The idea being, all of this area that I've mined out for chalk, I want to reclaim and use as like one massive global final stockpile to get stone out of the freaking way. That is my goal. Lots of stuff to do. All of our work orders, we have to get back to making food and drink. We are already kind of down in drink a little bit. How are we doing on plants, by the way? We have... hold up. That's not great. Why don't we have any... I guess everything is planted, but still. Okay. We do have some plump helmet and pigtail. Whew. I freaked out just a little bit. Not a ton of plump helmet, though. Maybe we need to start ordering some more seeds from our trader friends next time we see them. Could start looking at the hospital a bit, too. You're cleaning yourself. I guess that's a good enough place. Oh, do we need a bathhouse? Can we make... oh, that'd be so cool. Gather water... I think it'd be kind of a neat addition as a bathhouse. Just a zone that you go to get naked in and bathe up. Where should we put the justice office at? The office of the Justicar. They're not really going to... I mean, they do act as guards. Maybe down here by the tavern wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe not on the same floor as the tavern. But we've got all of this open space to the, you know, south, if you will, of the main, you know, open religious area. So perhaps this first one, we just make, we experiment with a security office here. So we can have a, I don't even know what you would need. We do, it looks like we need cages. So I'm guessing kind of like a basic room, just for presentation's sake. And then maybe some holding rooms. I really have no idea what to expect here. yeah, since we don't really know what we're going to see, let's do... Why didn't that work? Goodness gracious. We'll do it like the solitary confinement in Prison Architect. We'll have like a door and then a cage, just for added protection, in case they can escape a little bit. So perhaps we'll have a bunch of this stuff, and then we'll have like an interrogation room here. A couple interrogation rooms randomly, in case we're doing multiple investigations at the same time. Yeah, it's weird, but it's a good start. We'll experiment with this a little bit more in the next few episodes. Oh boy. Yeah, lots going on. How many people don't have anything to do? It's a pretty busy fortress, honestly. Still a lot of relatively happy people. A couple of grumpy people. I'll tell you what, as we come to a conclusion of this episode, let's sort by grumpiness. There's a child who is angry. Tell us, dear child, why for art thou angry? You saw... Oh, oh no. This child has been permanently traumatized because they watched the goblins die. They were in the hallway when the goblins got absolutely slaughtered. Gratitude when you were rescued. Seeing the goblin dead body. Did you actually get kidnapped here? Gosh, your thoughts are all over the place. I think this is the most recent on down. So the order of operators would have been... Yeah, so stay sauced. Oh, this might have been the first batch of goblins. This poor child has watched multiple body snatchers die. Oh, this is actually really awful. So he was around when the first set of body snatchers died. Then he cried, then he whatever. And then he watched 3 more goblins get killed. He was afraid after experiencing this trauma. He then remembered reliving the scenario, which is like basic PTSD. You've had an awful experience, my friend. That's kind of sad. That's really awful. He dreams of creating great works of art. A great work of art. That's kind of cool. I wonder if that's a precursor to somebody getting possessed. Somebody said that if you don't have an area to bury your dwarves, they'll come back and possess your children. I don't know if that's how possession works, but could work for me. What about someone who's not a kid who's grumpy? Arawea. Oh no, why are you so grumpy, buddy? You were disgusted after retching on miasma. Oops. You're lonely after being away from family. I don't know how to fix this one. He wasn't able to help anyone in too long. Interesting. Help somebody, be with family, be with friends, martial training. You're not in the military. You are a coke... Well, you're currently making coke from coal. I really don't, after getting into an argument, a lot of people were traumatized by watching this goblin die. Oh, we got a little bit of miasma here. This is their lower leg. How do we get rid of this stuff? Mutilated corpse. We need an outside corpse dump. I think we do have... I thought we had somewhere we were dumping stuff. Can I just make a little garbage pit over here, maybe? I mean, we have a basement garbage pit, so it's probably these default orders that I just always get mixed up. Standing orders for refuse and dumping. We gather the refuse, we dump the corpses. Maybe just no one's gotten around to dumping the corpse, but this has been here for a minute, though. Ugh. Can I get this, Do we have a task for this body? I don't see anything about dumping. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at this again in our little pause menu. Hey, friend, thanks for bearing with me as I kind of remember the fortress. It's a little reintroduction here. It has been a few days away. Thanks again so much for your comments, your suggestions. I am looking through the comments as much as possible, so please do. If I missed your tip, there's a couple more names on my list of people to add to the game, so I will be inserting some dwarves in fun positions that aren't just a generic left, right, or center dwarf. We'll try to do somebody that we might see every so often. And then I am going to go through here and redo some designations and some work orders especially. We're a little bit behind on the work order stuff, so need to clean that up. But then, my friends, I shall be back with another episode. Hopefully this will come out tomorrow, and then we'll continue with the everyday 1-hour episodes, because that is how we consume our Dwarf Fortress, with lots of dwarven alcohol slammed into our faces. So thanks so much. I'll catch you again in the next episode. Until then, friends, be well.